He is our NFL Network insider. He has a podcast now, Rap Sheet and Friends. He is not appearing today with his friends, only himself. Ian Rapoport, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing this, which is fun. I assume you're busy waiting for trades to happen. Although even though the Carlos Hyde trade happened on a Friday, would you be surprised if a trade went down today before the full schedule Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, even that trade, the timing sort of didn't make much sense because they traded for him. I mean, I guess what you do is you prevent a guy from playing in the next game so he doesn't get injured. But the timing doesn't actually make sense because, they traded for him that he didn't play. So why bother?
Yeah, why bother? Is there a big name that you think could be traded that would stun people or surprise people by Tuesday?
I don't think there'll be anything that would really surprise people at this point because so much gets out in the public. If someone needed a quarterback, then maybe Sam Bradford could be traded. I think that would, probably, I don't know if that would surprise people, but if there was a quarterback injury and Bradford was sort of the recipe, then we've been there before, but that would open some eyes. Other than that, most of the guys at this point who are going to be traded, it's not going to be someone like Josh Gordon, a young guy with a low salary. It's going to be an old guy with a high salary. I mean, Demaryius Thomas could be traded. That would be one. Depending on how the Broncos do, I think that would be big news, Pro Bowler, eye-opening. How much actual effect it will have on the team, who knows? But names like that, I think, are sort of important to watch.
All right, let's go through some teams. Ian Rapoport here, our NFL Network insider. Trade deadline Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be on live on NFL Network for all of that. The Raiders. Do you buy John Gruden when he says we're pretty much done?
I really don't. Mainly because, he said, yeah, I don't anticipate any more trades. But then he said, I didn't anticipate the last one either. And you're like, well, okay, but what does that actually mean?
It means nothing.
So, I guess, they're probably not looking to make any more trades, and I would think they know the market at this point, what it would probably be. But, you never know. Like, Carl Joseph is on the trade block. Let's say someone loses starting safety, system fits, all of a sudden they get the trade price they want, then, they could do a trade. Derek Carr is probably not getting traded, but maybe Bruce Irvin is. I would say the Raiders certainly could do another trade, even if it would end up surprising John Gruden.
All right, the Giants have traded Damon Harrison and traded Eli Apple. You and I discussed this on Up to the Minute on NFL Network a couple of days ago. Eli has a no-trade clause. Is there a trade that Eli would agree to, and would they even consider going down that road?
I don't think so. And I don't see why he would. He's not going to go to a contending team. And obviously his team is bad, but, there's something to be said for finishing your career in the same place. And the reality is you only get a no-trade clause if you want to do that. Would he waive it to go play for the Rams? I guess he probably would. But those trades are not happening, so it would be probably to the Jaguars, which are not going to do it. And where else? So no, I think similar to last year, I think that's kind of much ado about nothing, although kind of fun to kick around regardless.
You mentioned Sam Bradford. What about like Tyrod Taylor or Ryan Fitzpatrick, those veteran quarterbacks? Any interest in those guys?
Yeah, Tyrod I wondered about with the Jaguars, but do they want to pay $8 million for a starter who, was not playing well and then got benched after an injury?
And they beat last year in the playoffs.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is they've seen a firsthand look of him not being good. So, why? That's the problem. They've seen Bortles play good. They've invested so much in him. They're already paying him. So why would that make sense? And then Fitzpatrick, again, absent a quarterback injury, I don't see where he would end up going. I really don't.
Right now, backing up Jameis Winston, by the way, Ryan Griffin is the answer to who's third on the Buccaneers quarterback depth chart. We were talking about this yesterday, and you said, and I'll just make it easy for you here, that you don't think the Bills are going to trade LeSean McCoy. Now, he's in concussion protocol now. Don't know if he clears and gets on the field Monday, but he has an extra day. They play the Patriots on ESPN. He's 30, Ian. Like, why wouldn't the Bills be actively trying to trade him?
Well, the way it's been explained to me is, yes, I mean, obviously he is 30 years old, but he's looked good. He's been really good in the locker room. They believe he's going to be on the team next year. And, we can laugh about that all you want, but we've seen teams turn it around from one year to the next. In football, probably more so than any other sport. Same thing with Patrick Peterson. Why would the Cardinals trade Patrick Peterson when if they're good next year, he's going to help be part of the solution? So they believe Shady's going to be on the team next year. And if that's the case, then, look, maybe you get a second rounder or something, you probably trade him. I think they would probably do that
Sure.
as any team. But I just don't think that's happening, so I don't think he's going anywhere.
And most teams wouldn't give up a second-round pick for a 30-year-old running back. And I'm not trying to be an ageist here. I'm 44, but Frank Gore is an anomaly, what we saw last night.
Wow.
Yeah, how old do you think I was?
I mean, younger. Sheesh.
Really? Well, thanks, pal. Yeah, I just had a birthday. I'm officially old. This is Ian Rapoport, our NFL Network insider. I want to go back to Patrick Peterson because he had released a statement on Wednesday. Yeah, I'm frustrated, but I'm here. Now, you reported last Thursday on the network, you had spoken to Michael Bidwill. He's not getting traded. You were adamant about that. You quoted Bidwill. Yep. This wasn't like a deep conversation. He had a quote. He's not getting traded, basically.
He said not happening.
Not happening. Did Patrick Peterson have to issue that? Did he issue that statement only because he wanted out and they told him forget about it, and so he just said, I guess I got to put this to bed because they're not going to do what I want?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, there was also conversations where I think they tried to kind of assuage him and let him understand that things were going to be a little different going forward, and some discussion of some improvement. I mean, there was definitely conversations. I just think. It was very clear the whole time he was not getting traded. I know there was interest. I know his cousin was out there tweeting about teams that he wanted to play for. He was never getting traded. So the only way to get in front of it for him was to meet with the owner and then embrace the reality, which is that he's going to be there going forward.
Was his desire to leave in any way a reflection of the mood in the locker room under new head coach Steve Wilks?
I have not heard that. I mean, I know Peterson is frustrated, but I have not heard that about other players. I mean, obviously they're losing, so not like everyone's running around doing jumping jacks or whatever. But I have not heard specifically anything about the coach. I mean, there's, that team's got some issues. I mean, they got a lot of first rounders that are not on the field. They got old real quick. They have a lot of problems. So, I have not heard specifically any players say that it's the coaching staff for sure.
All right, coming up on 34 past the hour, this is Ian Rapoport, our NFL Network insider. I'm Andrew Siciliano, sitting in for Rich, who is in London and is back on Tuesday. The voice of Golden Corral, Deion Sanders, hosts this show on Monday. I want to talk about the Browns real quick. We know that Hugh had won only one game in 2 years, and that this year he was, on the hot seat from day number one, obviously here. But this past week or two have been really interesting. They lose again, another heartbreaker. And then Hugh comes out in Tampa Sunday and says he may take play calling away from Todd Haley. There's a report on Twitter from the Browns flagship station from their reporter who covers the team every day, Sunday night, that says there's more and more frustration, basically, stay tuned, and cites Haslam and Dorsey. Didn't say they said it, but he's hearing they are more frustrated. Then Hugh comes out and says, I didn't really mean to say what I said. It was just the heat of the moment. Then Todd Haley plays nice yesterday. You and I talked about the seat getting warmer yesterday on NFL Network. And then they get the Steelers on Sunday. I know that I'm kind of making a word salad here, but could this be his final game if it goes really badly Sunday in Pittsburgh?
I mean, I think, at this point in the NFL, it's hard to rule anything out ever. So, we'll see how it plays out. I think the frustrations are real. The issues are real. The fact that the quarterback had played well at the beginning and hasn't recently is, I think, frustrating to some. Is he going to be the coach next year of the team? I think, it's hard to believe. So, yeah, I mean, if it goes real badly, I think we'll be paying pretty close attention in Cleveland.
All right, here's my $64,000 question. Which former head coach now a coordinator, would get the interim job?
My guess would be Todd Haley rather than Greg Williams.
Even though Greg Williams' defense is performing far better than Todd Haley's offense.
Yes.
Why?
Well, I think Greg Williams is not for everyone. And,
nope.
When you kind of look at the landscape of the franchise, which way it's going, brought some new coaches in. Haley was one of them. My sense is if something happened, they would probably want to start fresher rather than, give Greg Williams a head coaching opportunity. I would say I'm pretty strong in that view. So I would definitely be surprised if they made a move and it was Greg Williams taking over.
All right, real quick. Hugo Cruz, who is a down judge, he is the official that was fired yesterday, or news came out yesterday that he was fired for missing what was a blatant Russell Okung false start week 6 for the Chargers that led to, on that very play, a Tyrell Williams touchdown pass from Phillip Rivers. Ian, this is, in essence, unprecedented that we fire an official midseason.
It is actually unprecedented, yeah. And, it's not for one play. I think that was pretty clear. We talked about it on TV some. It was for over the length of his, last several games, seasons, whatever. And, honestly, it's good to see some accountability. It's good to see – you don't want to see someone lose their job, but when officials make bad calls, it affects games, and people do lose their jobs because of games. So, yeah, I mean, the headline was pretty catchy, but it wasn't an official losing his job because of a bad call. It was because of clearly a series of bad calls. But yeah, definitely noteworthy and interesting.
Ian, who is on your podcast this week?
We have Darius Leonard, the Colts
awesome
potential defensive rookie of the year, who's awesome.
Awesome.
And Cordero Patterson, who had 2 big touchdowns for the Patriots this season, including a return last week, and keyed a pretty awesome special teams unit. He was entertaining, and obviously I'm on, and I'm always entertaining. As
of course.
Garofalo and Pelissero, so
obviously.
It was a really good one.
Okay,
Yep.
So Tom Pelissero is the friend on this week.
Him and Garofalo are on every week.
Oh, they're on every week. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I forced them to be on for no pay. It's great.
And do you rotate friends in?
We bring on some NFL Network personalities / friends for different times. Kim has been on, Aditi, Judy.
Mm-hmm.
Not you yet, but other people.
We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it at that. It's the Ian Rapoport and Friends podcast. And it stars Ian Rapoport. You should download it. Thanks, pal.
Thanks, Andy. Bye.
See you.
Man, that got awkward.
I love Ian. It's awesome. Actually, you should listen. I have not listened to the podcast, but Pelissero, Garofalo, Ian, Kim, Aditi, whomever, they are all friends. We are all friends. We all work together.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.